"Who's the kid with the attitude?" Leslie asked. "Oh, that'd be our Stevie Mattingly," he said in a tone of tolerant amusement. Several yards past the main thoroughfare, nestled in a copse of trees, sat a yellow-painted house with its own well, outhouse, barn, and back cabin. Hansel swung down from the rented horse and walked her across the lawn to the front post. He had built himself a comfortable life down a coal chute, drawing lifeblood out of the hills, and it showed on his well-appointed land. Leslie scrubbed a thumb over his teeth, clearing grit from the ride, and hitched his mare as well. The front door opened on a woman wearing a brown skirt and white shirt belted at the waist. Her long, sandy hair hung loose. "Sarah, meet Miss Bruin," Hansel said. "Pleased to meet you," Sarah replied coolly. "Would you mind showing her back to the cabin while I get the horses in?" "Of course." Leslie dipped a bow as Sarah descended from the porch. Bare feet and ankles flashed beneath her hemline. With his travel pack swung over one shoulder, Leslie followed her around the backside of the house. The westernmost hill swallowed the lingering sun, and night spilled across the holler. Sarah pointed him to the cabin. "There's a wash basin ready for you, and leftovers from dinner. We share the same outhouse. Knock on the back door if you're needful." "Thank you," Leslie began. Sarah turned heel and strode away. A handsome married woman giving him the cold shoulder wasn't entirely a surprise. He muttered, "Well, all right." The single-room cabin contained an iron stove with a pipe through the roof, a brass bed frame topped by mattress, quilt, and pillow, a desk with water basin and lantern, a scuffed cedar cabinet, and a swinging pane glass window left open. Moths fluttered around the lantern. Lowering the latch behind him, he unfastened his boots, then stripped to boxers and undershirt. Muggy night air meant mosquitoes, so with a groan he swung the window shut. He had a number of interlocking tasks he'd need to start first thing on the morrow. Secure a location to run services from, determine the receptivity of the townspeople to nursing, count the children and pregnant or aiming to be pregnant women, diagnose any parasitic infections or other health troubles, and ultimately establish himself as an authority, but never too much of an authority, lest the local doctors or aunties sense a threat to their monopolies. And lastly, though the FNS would turf him if word got round, he had to keep an eye peeled for those secret, vital needs. Wives tired of childbearing but unfamiliar with preventatives, young men clueless on how to please their paramours, girls whose bodily education began and ended in the church pew, fellows who weren't quite fellows, and ladies who weren't quite ladies. Once he'd integrated into town life, the whispers would start to arrive at his ear, and he could apply the sexological knowledge he'd gathered in Europe,